Welcome to episode 41 of Coffee with Doc. I brought Paige back with me.
Hello.
Paige has got a new title. What do we come up with? Is your title?
Nutrition and exercise specialist.
I thought it was a
Or
metabolic. Then
well,
we
I
have.
put that as the second line.
Oh, okay, okay. That's the second line. Is the
Yep.
metabolic coach?
Metabolic testing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Yep.
So, if you guys remember, we had Paige on. We were talking about some of our new equipment that we have with our VO2 max testing and our resting metabolic rate. So, she's been busy working on that today, making sure that everything's working properly. So, episode 41. Let's talk about what's coming up. There's a couple holidays coming up. We got Christmas, and then New Year's. And outside of the party here in Vegas, what's New Year's known for? It's known for a New Year's resolution. Did you know that 90% of New Year's resolutions are finished before the first month even ends?
So they're like 90.
Yeah, it's 90. Like, I think it's actually like 92%. Only
Mentally.
8% make it through the first month. And then I think it's 1% or less than 1% make it the full year. So, why do these things fail? And kind of what can we do to maybe make them a little bit more successful? I think one of the things is people tend to do something that's too big,
Hmm.
right? Or undefined. I want to lose weight.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. They a lot of people say I'm going to go to the gym. They buy a gym membership, or they type out a diet, or set their calories, and then they follow it. But there's no smaller chunk of goal setting which they need. So for every goal you set, I always tell people you want to have at least three applicable things to do to reach that goal. If you don't set the time aside in your calendar to go to the gym, but also the time if there's traffic and if you have to shower, then you're just going to say screw it that day. And that's why people fall off usually.
So yeah, that's interesting because I mean, I find that happens to me sometimes. Is I get up and I slept a little extra half hour, and I want to do all the same things. I'm like, well, if I do the exact same routine I did yesterday with less time, uh, you're going to have to sacrifice something.
Hmm.
So I usually pick one thing and I go, okay, I'm not going to do X this morning. And a lot of times for me, that's a read because I like to read in the morning to just get my brain going before I walk the dog. But if I don't have the time, then the reading's going to sit because the dog has to get walked, and I got to go to the gym. So
Which I think comes down to a good point: priorities. Uh, if you rank your values, the top five values that you have, if
mhm,
health isn't there, and like you're not gonna follow through. So you have to care enough or be in enough pain to
want to
actually stick
change.
with it.
Well, that kind of brings some people make a New Year's resolution that is something that they don't even enjoy doing. So they say, "Oh, I'm going to start going to the gym."
Right.
You don't even like the gym. Why are you making that your New Year's resolution? Well, because it's healthy for me. Well, I agree, but there's other forms of exercise that you can do. Maybe find something that you really enjoy doing that the likelihood of you succeeding is going to be that much more,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, I have clients who just they go on hikes for their cardio, which that works.
Yeah.
If you enjoy outdoors, and yeah, that works. So Um, and I feel like people are overwhelmed too when they go to the gym because not only are a million other people there in January, but they don't have a set routine, or they don't like they feel like they're gonna look stupid if they
Right.
don't exercise.
Yeah, I think that's huge, right? They walk into a gym that maybe they haven't been into since they were in high school.
Yeah.
They maybe don't understand a lot of the equipment. For you and I, you look at that equipment, you know exactly what it does. You can go, oh, that's easy. But for somebody who hasn't been there,
Hmm.
they go, oh, I don't know how this works. And there's usually pictures that show you, but sometimes they're not the most descriptive.
Yeah.
And to your point, they don't want to look stupid. They're afraid to ask somebody.
Hmm.
They're intimidated. Like, I think like one brilliant move I had seen, I forget which, it might have been um, Las Vegas Athletic Club, but they had a separate gym for women,
Oh yeah, they still do.
right?
Mhm.
So I thought that was brilliant because if you want to be out in on the main floor, you can be out there.
Mhm.
But if you don't want to be uncomfortable,
Mhm.
then go into this room with where
Yep.
just women are, and I mean, women are worst. I think they judge each other more than
I was
anybody.
gonna
But
say, actually stay out of that room.
right, but all kidding aside, I mean, you can feel a little bit more comfortable there.
Mhm.
You're not going to be intimidated by people generally throwing around a lot of weights because my experience is the women that actually can lift heavy weights, they don't want to be in there,
Yeah.
right? So they want to be out where um, they're going to be challenged a little bit more, and so um,
Yeah. And I think it's important to remember everyone has the same goal at the gym.
mhm.
I mean, very few people, are taking selfies. At least I hope, um, in front of the mirrors, but they're all there ultimately for a goal. And I think Arnold said this. I can't remember who, but you should be so focused when you go to the gym on yourself that if you were walking across the room with an egg on a spoon in your mouth, you wouldn't drop it. And most people are like looking around, like, what is that guy doing? Is he on his phone? Are they like, are they laughing about me, at me?
Right,
So, yeah.
right, yeah. I mean, I see influencers in the gym, and doing their workouts, and they spend more time influencing than they do working out. So I don't know what they're influencing. Poor behavior.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's come with age for me. Um, but I see people in the gym that you can tell haven't been in there,
Mhm.
and if I see them doing something that could be maybe detrimental, I'll come up and tell them. I do it in a very kind way, and I explain, listen, I've been doing this for a very, very long time, and I qualify it a lot of times because I don't want to seem like I'm creepy or anything. And I was like, I'm a physician, and I just see what you're doing. I would hate to see you get hurt. And then a lot of and then I just say what I have to say, and I said, and if you don't like the advice, I apologize, but it just for me, I feel better just letting you know. And so far, it's been positive response because I'm not, just it's usually just they tighten your core up because
Yeah.
you're gonna end up hurting your back or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And the worst ones though is when I see them doing it and they're paying a trainer, and the trainer's allowing that to happen, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
God, um, you know,
Yeah. They're on their phone scrolling and their clients doing the swinging dumbbell curl. Like,
yeah, to, just yeah, throwing weights around like a monkey,
yeah.
or with poor form or something, and I cringe.
Mhm.
And then I'll talk to my training partner, who is a trainer, and I said, you should maybe talk to that trainer, right? Those
Yeah.
are your people,
Yeah.
and try to help them. I think you nailed it though. Is like what people should make smaller goals,
Hmm.
and like let's say they want to lose weight,
Hmm.
right? Having somebody to be accountable to is I think paramount.
Yeah.
Um, and then because that person that you can be accountable to can help you focus that down into a smaller goal.
Hmm.
So like, I want to lose 40 pounds. Well, okay, but let's lose 5,
Yeah.
and make sure that you're doing it appropriately, and utilizing the tools like we have here in the office and other people have
Mhm.
to ensure that you're losing fat, that you're not losing lean muscle mass, and then we can monitor your diet, right?
Hmm.
Those,
Yeah.
you know,
Usually, so there's 3,500 calories in a pound of body fat, just 1 pound. And I recommend no more than 2.2 pounds of fat loss per week, unless you want to start risking the loss of muscle and lean tissue. But a lot
so
of
a
people
kilo,
are, yeah,
just a kilo.
yeah, they're
Okay.
expecting to get 5, 10 pounds down, and when they don't, they're disappointed. And even if they've started weight training and they haven't before, they used to a long time ago, their muscle is going to shoot up, and they might gain 5 pounds and lose 5 pounds of fat. Weight's the same. You think you're not making progress, you give up.
Right, because
Hmm.
you're measuring weight and you're not measuring composition,
Composition. Hmm.
right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Which is what we do.
yeah.
Yep.
So they brought another thought to mind is, you know, of the rapid weight loss, like we're seeing with a lot of these GLP-1s. One of the things that my wife, who does dermatology, and we hear it here in the office, if you losing weight too fast, hair loss.
Gotcha.
A lot of people start suffering from hair loss from that, and they're like, "What the heck?" And then and they're chasing, and I'm guilty of it. I've helped them chase around their hormones and look and go, "There's nothing wrong with the hormones." And then it's like, "Oh, you lost all this weight." Ah, right. The same thing with stress. Stress. People go through stressful situations and they lose their hair.
Yep.
Right. But generally that comes back.
Yeah.
And I think it will come back with the weight loss. And I honestly don't know the mechanism behind the hair loss with the rapid weight loss, unless it's a stress on the system type thing. And I think that might
Yeah.
be it.
I think it's a combination. Also, like a nutritional deficiency of some sort. Like, you don't have any vitamin D. Cut out all your carbs. Maybe you're not getting any sodium. Like, little things like that, the micronutrients. Um, but it all plays a role. So, but yeah, those people also they crash diet. That happens. Then they gain the weight back, and then some maybe, and then now you're stuck with no progress and a side effect. So it's what you don't want.
So people can set smaller goals,
Hmm.
work with somebody that they can be accountable to.
Hmm.
What else?
It's a math game too. So like if you the 3,500 calorie thing I was talking about, if you just start with a baseline 2,000 calories a day, just download a free, MyFitnessPal tracker, and just track everything you eat for like 3 days, every single thing, even liquid calories, and see where you're at, and then drop it to 2,000. And then see, the progress you're gonna make. But if you're in a 500 calorie deficit every day for a week, that's 1 pound. So it doesn't work out perfectly like that always, especially when you're getting the lean tissue too. But I tell people just start tracking just to know where you're at. Because if you don't know where you're at, then you don't know where you need to go. And then also the protein. Average American probably gets like 50 grams a day, maybe. Um, so that's going to bump up and that'll help keep you more full for longer.
I think what was the F not the FDA USRDA for protein is 0.4 grams per pound or
So I go off of grams per pound of lean tissue.
right. But I'm saying
Oh, they're
the
going to,
the RDA
yeah,
is pretty low.
low. Yeah.
I think I would lose muscle mass if
Yeah.
I followed the RDA.
Yeah.
I think in general, though, we recommend what is 0.8 to 1.2,
Two. Yep.
right? Grams per pound.
Yeah.
Um, I
It,
mean, what's
it,
grams per, so how in lean meat,
mhm.
so was it 7 grams per ounce of lean meat of
Well, it depends
poultry,
how lean.
steak, beef,
Hmm.
and then it's roughly 5.5 of fish,
Hmm.
5.5 grams per ounce of fish
Yeah. Yeah.
for a rough estimate,
Yeah.
right?
I always tell people to, you can go off of like portions of your fist,
Hmm.
kind of old school. But if you have no other method of measuring, like at least make your protein, the meat, the size of your hand when
Okay.
you're eating, and then eat that first on your plate. So you get into the habit of always eating protein with your meals, which will help keep you more full. And then maybe you stop before dessert, and then that's going to cut off your calories for the day, and you'll still be in a deficit. So
So you said habit. So that goes back to
yes.
like New Year's resolutions. People want to change their habits, right? Um, but I think it's the same stuff though.
Mm-hmm.
What is your reason? I think you have to have a big enough why. I always say that to patients.
Yep.
Like, I want to do this, and you know, some of them have told me that what they want to do, and it's been 5, 6, 7 years, and they haven't done it, and they keep promising me they're going to do it, and I'm like, what is your why for this?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you're not going to do it until your why gets big enough. And I've seen some remarkable changes, and like from one year to the next, been somebody had been 4 or 5 years telling me they're gonna lose weight, and then finally they come in and they lost them. What the hell happened? And it's
Mm-hmm.
one of somebody close to them died, or had a heart attack and it scared them. And they're like, all right, now's, and it sucks that it takes that kind of fear, but that's their why. Um, Generally, I'd like to think could be something positive that
Mhm.
would be your why,
Yeah.
like,
People don't often think that way though.
yeah,
Unless, like being able to keep up with your grandkids. Of course you want to do that, but that's not what people think about when they're on the treadmill or
right,
in the gym.
right.
I also think you have to be saying no to the right people is important. Like if you work in a restaurant setting and you're around, uh, high caloric foods all the time and you just snack or, eat the meals there, then of course, or people badgering you like, oh, come on, have a drink with us and try this dessert. Like you're going to cave if your why isn't big enough.
Right. Well, then I was reading something today. It was almost the response to that, where if you, let's say you decide you don't want to drink alcohol anymore, and you're in a setting where people are drinking, they're like, hey, come on, drink one. You put a smile on your face and say, no, I'm good.
Hmm.
Right. Versus, no, I don't want to drink. And because I'm trying to quit and I have, that I think makes you that second response makes you more vulnerable, and that allows that person to be like, well, okay, just this one time you'll be okay. But if you are firm in your stance and you like put a smile on your face and no, I'm good, like,
Yeah. Hmm.
how it's hard for somebody to counter that, to be like, oh, come on, you're like, nah, I'm good, and walk away, like, right. And now you haven't offended anybody, and who cares really, but you've stuck to your guns, and you're able to walk away with your head held high, as opposed to being a victim. I think if
People
that
please.
makes you more vulnerable and open
Yeah.
to suggestion, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's a lot of it is how you frame it in your mind.
Yeah. Another thing I tell people, the diction that you use is really important. So instead of saying I can't, say I won't, or like sorry, I'm not going to do that today, but I'll have a drink with you guys next week or whatever it is. Because can't implies that someone's controlling you, and then you are the victim of your,
Mhm.
that. So
Well,
you can always cave.
semantics, but they make a difference, right?
Yeah.
It's what you're telling yourself too.
Mhm.
Um, so I think if you're going to go into the new year, number one, making a resolution is not necessary. If there's something that you want to change about yourself, you don't have to wait till the new year. Start now. Start, when your why is big enough. But don't just throw it to, oh, it's New Year's, I'm going to do XYZ, because there's a high probability you're going to fail. Um, Take it in small chunks though. If you make a resolution to, for whatever it is, try to find small milestones that you can accomplish and you can celebrate them. And and that's also important, that that you celebrate that accomplishment. I mean, to take it to the nth degree, but if you look at something like Alcoholics Anonymous, I mean, they're celebrating everybody for anybody been clean for a day, anybody been clean and sober for 2 days, and it's just, they continue to celebrate each progression,
Mhm.
right? And that's beautiful. I mean, I've got a lot of patients that, they'll tell me, because it's our confidential agreement. I had no idea that they were a drug or alcohol, um, and I'll say victim, but that they were subject to being prone to abusing either one of them. And they tell me how long they've been clean. And I'm always like, congratulations, that is so empowering that you were able to overcome that. And now anything that I ask you to do is going to be so much easier, because you've proven that you can do anything that you want to do, right? So I love those patients,
Mhm.
right? And then, if you have a setback, okay, then you're just restarting. And okay, one setback does not mean that you failed. It's not win or lose. It's win or learn,
Yeah.
right? So
Might be a stop sign, but the road still continues.
yeah,
You just have to keep going.
yeah. Sometimes we kind of swerve out of our lane and just get right back in.
Mhm.
Um, so then think about having somebody to be accountable to,
Mhm.
whether it be a spouse or, man, if you got children, you tell them, you know, mommy, daddy's trying to lose weight, they'll call you out on your bullshit when you go to eat something like that's not good for you, and they don't really care.
Yeah.
So involve your kids, and then the other side of that is if you're eating healthy and clean, that's really gonna drive them to want to mimic you because
Mm.
you know your most children look up to their parents and they want to mimic their parents, and so if their parents are doing all the right things, there's a better probability that they're going to want to do those things too. um, what else?
Yeah. I was just gonna say that if you love your kids, which I sure hope you do, you'll do it for them if not for yourself because of that example. And also, I was gonna mention too the time of year right now. If they start now, arguably the hardest because of all the holidays and treats and everything. If you can make it through this, then the rest of the year,
Easy.
breeze.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the accountability is important because if you don't know what you're doing, where you're starting, what to do, then you're just not gonna do it.
Yeah, and so if you're on, let's say, a weight loss journey, and you need help with that, you come down here and talk with Paige. There's other places that you can go and do it as well, but you're not going to find anybody who's got the knowledge that Paige has. We have the tools to kind of really get you set up for success. So the information that we're gathering will really help to determine the precise diet that you're going to need, right?
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah. I'm never going to tell you that you can't have cookies ever again or pizza, but it's how much, how often, and what else you're doing and eating that matters.
Right.
So,
And I'll tell you, I imbibe in some of that stuff every once in a while. But what keeps me from doing it is I know the next day or two I'm going to suffer with a lot more pain because of the gluten or the sugar or what have you in that food increases inflammation, and it's just my life is more uncomfortable. So I mean that's my why for kind of cleaning up my diet, um, and keeping it more. Um, I don't know if I want to use keto or whatever, but I just, mostly vegetables and some fruit here and there and protein. And I literally have a half a cup of carbs in the morning and then in the afternoon, and that's it.
mhm.
And it's a dense starch. Right?
Yeah.
I use a sweet potato or a white potato, and that's it. And it's only because I read, and I'm probably wrong in this, but unless the rice is fresh, it grows a mold on it pretty quickly. That's what I read, and I'm like, right. And then it has to be like a lot of the rice to prepare it appropriately. You need to soak it first, and then pour that water off. Soak it again, pour the water off, and then clean it because there's a lot of arsenic in the rice. That's something I've read, and I don't trust anybody else to do that
Mm.
appropriately.
Yeah.
So I may, if I'm going to eat rice, I'll do it
Yeah.
myself. But
I don't eat reheated rice just because I don't like the texture.
okay.
But yeah, it all those little things I think add up.
But the reheated rice is then it is a resistant starch though,
It's true.
right?
It's true. I
So
just don't like the taste.
there you go.
But I do want to mention though, for people cutting out food groups or going down significantly, like if your diet was mostly carbs and you're cutting that down, you're probably gonna like not feel great digestion wise at first. And then if you do cut down too low and then you binge or have like a refeed or whatever you want to call it, cheat meal. I hate calling it cheat meals. Um, then your enzymes are going to be downregulated, so you will actually have more distress.
Oh,
That's why people feel bloated when they do like eat a sandwich when they're doing keto. It just your body needs time, so you got to slowly ramp it up, or just come to us and get a good balance to begin with.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I used to tell patients, and weight loss doesn't have to be this big dietary change.
Mhm.
We can make minor changes, just taking a couple things out of what you do.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of people drink excess amount of calories. If you cut that out and just
Mhm.
drink water or a flavored bubbly water in place of a soda, um, say, well, I drink Coke Zero. Well, it's got 0 calories, but it's got a lot of chemicals in it that mimic sugar, and they might have very similar insulin-like responses in the system. right?
I think that also correlates to people are still drinking soda, even if it's diet, they're still eating a hamburger on the side or like a cheeseburger or whatever you want to call it. Um, so yeah, it's I really try to steer them away from ultimately it's a math game, so the calories, but diet isn't the best for you. But it's better than drinking just a glass of sugar. That's like four potatoes in one glass.
Right.
You wouldn't just do that.
Eat four potatoes, right?
So yeah.
Yeah, I think I mentioned I have one patient. He kept working out. He's doing everything great, but he loves diet soda. And every year we look at his labs. He's insulin resistant, high insulin. I'm like, he's like, how can this be? And I said, it's the diet soda. He's like, no way. I said, all right, well, let's do the experiment. And he goes, all right, I'll stop. And he did for a month and came back and retested. Everything normalized. I said, all right, what are you going to do? He goes, I'm leaving to go have a diet soda. I'm like, okay, well, at least we know what the cause was. And so it's not a big question now, but you know that this is causing insulin resistance in you. And that is inhibiting a lot of the gains that you're trying to make. And he's like, yeah, I know, but I really love it. I'm like, okay, you know,
It's better to drink water. Most people don't even drink enough water to begin with.
right.
And then half the time when we're hungry, our body signals us to, it, we're really thirsty, but we think we're hungry.
Yeah, it's the signal that is, you don't feel thirst until you're extremely dehydrated.
Yeah.
So it comes as a signal of hunger initially.
Mhm.
So that's why the old saying is just drink 8 to 10 ounces of water before you eat, because you probably won't be hungry.
Mhm.
And if you are, then eat something,
Mhm.
right? Because there's still room in the belly for that food, amongst that liquid. And then I've heard people say, well, if you're drinking water like that before you eat, and that dilutes the digestive enzymes and you're not going to digest the food as well. I'm like, yeah, I don't know that I buy that
Yeah.
when the pH is 2 and the water is neutral. So it's really not going to buffer the stomach acid
Yeah.
to that degree,
You'd have to,
right?
yeah, guzzle a glass of something.
Baking soda.
Yeah, pretty
Yes.
much.
So, okay.
Yeah. Um, I do want to mention though, one book I think is really great is Atomic Habits.
Mm-hmm.
I think people should read. Um, it literally breaks down 4 steps of how to make a new habit, start it, and then how to break bad habits like smoking or whatnot. But the first step in making a good habit is the cue. So visually, you have to be reminded of what you're going to do. So a sticky note, silent alarm on your phone, setting water bottles out around your house, and when you see one, drink it. But you have to make that agreement to yourself. Um, but it makes it easier. Otherwise, you're gonna get to like 3 p.m. and be like, "Oh, oops, I didn't drink water."
Yeah,
So,
one of the things was I tell patients you should drink about a gallon of water a day. So get a gallon and bring it with you.
mm,
And then at the end of the day, you'll see how much you did or didn't drink. And usually it's pretty eye opening because they're like, I drink a lot of water. And they're like, I got a half a gallon left.
yep,
And what am I supposed to do with this? Because I'm not going to be able to sleep. Well, now you know that
right,
you only made half the way. So,
yeah.
because we fool ourselves, and our perception is a lot different.
Mhm.
So, do you know that book well enough to say what the next step is after the cue?
Oh, I actually have it video lessons in my online video course that I
Okay.
give to clients for educational purposes. But it's been probably 5 years since I've actually read it. But essentially, I mean, you need the cue, you need a reward, which if you're trying to get away from high calories, shouldn't be food. Keep that in mind. Um, and then you need to be able to repeat it. So
Okay.
I don't think that's how the terms they use, but yeah, it's essentially what you need to do. But the biggest one, no matter what, is the cue. So something to remind you to do it. Even if you write, I'll write on my hand sometimes. Like I just, don't forget to do this. And then you don't forget to do it. So you
It's like
just have to be
tying a
proactive.
string on your finger,
Yeah.
right?
So,
Okay.
yep.
Well, hopefully that helps you have some ideas to either one, don't waste your time making a New Year's resolution. Just do the things that you need to do um, for your own health and well being, right? Don't have to wait for New Year's for it. Number two, you have some tools now that you can utilize that will help you be successful in any changes that you're trying to make. And if you need some help, you're more than welcome to come down to Ageless Forever. down here at 6020 South Rainbow. Give us a call, 702 838 1994, and we'll be happy to get you in and do what we can to help you succeed in your new goal, whatever it may be. Thank you.